give up, cause we're the Power Rangers. Never give up, cause we're the Power Rangers. Heading forwards as the skies begin to darken once again. I've never felt so alone, till I realized we'll join our blades and fight together till the very end. When we're together, it's like home.
The whole world's on the line, but we got this and save it one more time.
Never give up, cause we're the Power Rangers. Never give up, cause we're the Power Rangers. Darkness creeps, evil never sleeps, but we've come way too far to lose. Never give up, cause we're the Power Rangers.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Power Rangers Mythic Order, episode 16. 17. 16? 17. 16. I put 16. I don't know. I'm getting all the numbers mixed up in my head.
The numbers all blur at some point.
All right. Well, Rangers, the scene picks up as your two Megazords blast a large creature into smithereens, the large bird that appeared recently at the end of the episode.
Like shooting fish in a barrel, eh, lads?
As your
I guess it's birds in the barrel, I guess, at this point.
as you power down, as you get out of the Megazords and power down, and you were called to the headquarters. Rangers, we need to talk.
What
About what?
Come to base, you'll see.
You know, that sounds concerning. It's never good. It's never good news these days.
$5 says it's more bad news.
As you guys kind of teleport in and head into the conference room, you see on the center screen above the table a news article that makes you stop in your tracks. Attack on Reefside. Ancient Charge Rangers and Shinobi Charge Rangers missing. And then you see a video clip, and it shows a green psycho, one that you've never even seen before, blasting the Ancient Charge and Shinobi Charge Rangers as they are engulfed in this green energy blast, and there is nothing left of them. The Green Psycho Ranger walks to behind where they were, reaches in the ground, and pulls something out of it. Before putrids begin to swarm the area, and Tyrannodrones, and you see the crew get attacked, and they begin to run away. This is what I needed to show you. This happened while you were gone.
Oh, this is just a light shitty situation.
Why does bad things always happen when we're not around?
It's a bit of a trend. But that Psycho Ranger, that's a bit of a new model. That kind of power is overwhelming.
Yeah, didn't know it was a green one.
Probably one of the more powerful ones. If you recall, the first appearance of a Green Ranger was Tommy. And we all know how that first appearance went down. And with the powers originating from evil, they must have a more stricter supply of green energy. So we're looking at a
In
threat
English terms, please, lad.
in comparison to Psycho Pink. Yeah, bad.
Okay, now that I understood. That still sucks.
And the teams themselves, that's what even was that? Are they, well, you know,
We don't know. We don't know. Their energy signatures are gone. But there should at least be some bodies. You can't vaporize somebody that way when they're morphed. It's just not possible. You can completely you could kill them. It's happened before.
But what if they
But-
didn't kill them?
We don't have enough information to even speculate, Zane.
so whatever it is, it's either, no matter what happens, this is bad. Either they're
Reefside is unprotected.
way stronger than we thought.
And it appears
We
that they
have-
got the item that it seems that we've long since speculated that they're looking for something in individual locations, and it looks like they may have found it in Reefside. He taps a button and the page changes, and it shows an article of a large crater found in Blue Bay Harbor. Similar to the one left by Psycho Green in Reefside.
Do we? So the crystal, you saw the crystal that was left behind. Does it give off any kind of weird, I don't know, energy signals? I am not smart at this. But if there's any way you can, I don't know.
Wait a second. Project Squadron and Motley both who use the power coins are, are all connected through the grid.
That is correct.
What if we and each one of us has at least once interacted with at least an aspect of their teams, except for the Shinobi Church team.
We've tried that. We've tried to connect that. We've tried to connect with them through the master coins, as well as through their new power sources that they recently just got.
True.
We already thought of
Well,
that.
then if we can't connect,
It's as if they
we still need to. Oh,
it's as if they simply don't exist, and it's as if those powers never existed. They've been erased from the grid entirely.
How in the hell?
Ha- Has anything like that ever happened before?
Not to my knowledge.
Do you think that maybe they've been? This is a bit of a stretch, but we know they could bring people out from other worlds, and we've traveled to other like universes, timelines. Have they been blasted out of our reality? If like
They've been
their powers
isekai'd?
just don't.
I learned that word from
Oh, like
Koji
that.
before he left.
Wait! I saw an anime about that was like this once.
Exactly.
Yeah, like
if-
that. Have they been isekai'd?
If we're lucky, potentially. Clearly, they have the technology to bring us to open portals. It's possible that this green psycho could have sent them there. There's no records of a green psycho at all. I'm afraid, Billy, that's not entirely true. In the corner, you see Zordon sitting. He looks up and he goes, original team from the 1960s team were killed by Psycho Green. But this doesn't seem to be the same one. Because I took care of him. Myself and Corone recently took care of him. And he didn't have anything to do with what's happening now.
So we know it's not the original, but they've clearly got power on the same level if they were strong enough to take down a whole ranger team.
Technically, 2 teams, but we just
Yeah, even worse.
Three. But okay.
Whatever we do, if Reefside's not protected because of this, we need to find some way to solve that. I don't know the big brain stuff, but I do know leaving the town on the city on its own is the
That's a good
worst.
idea.
Yeah.
If anything, Reefside is closest to Blue Bay Harbor. Some of our ninjas could assist with a little bit, but not much until a ranger team is established.
at this point, Joe would like to replay the footage
Okay.
of him attacking.
Okay.
That way, she would try to determine if it was like an invasion or if he just straight up came in by himself.
It was based on the footage initially, you kind of did see you saw a couple of like general looking monsters and a bunch of like tyrannodrones and putrids and putties. If you would like to play it again, I would, and if you're looking for any further details, I would have you roll an investigation check. Because you're actually like kind of going frame by frame through it, kind of thing.
Yeah, what would investigation specifically be under?
Alertness.
Alertness. Okay, cool.
It's
I'm not terrible at that.
It's a specialization of investigation would classify as a specialization of alertness.
Okay. Not terrible at that.
Ooh, crit 19.
19 crit. You just barely succeeded. The DC on that was 18. So you find You see in the center of the blast what looks like a shadow for a split second. Like it's literally just 2 frames. And within those 2 frames, you see the Rangers there, the shadow appears behind them, and then they're gone. And then it gets blasted out, kind of like blared out. You can all you see is kind of like this huge green flash. Going into it, Billy kind of pulls up and he enhances it, and the shadow is a near perfect circle, just big enough to cover the Rangers. And they're all pretty close. Basically, they were kind of all huddled down around the ground, basically all piled up together. Like they got their asses kicked.
I see. So this would tell me, or Joe has a hunch that they are definitely not dead. Because otherwise, why would he do something that grandiose when, from what it looked like, with how easily he was defeating them, he could have just killed them and been done with it? But then Joe says, but then that begs the question of what the goal was, aside from just getting rid of them.
Maybe the goal was not to get rid of them. In our earlier experience, we have seen them try to make use of some of our bodies in one way or another. I pull up a file showing Dino Hedge and Void Knight trying to sap the Ranger's energy in a sense. I've read other similar files beforehand, like Sledge's files. Grid energy is an incredible power source. And if there was an enemy team and I was weighing my options of who to attack, so far, out of all of our teams, they were the most effective against our team.
I mean, they certainly wanted mine and Koji's bodies really bad, so there's something about us they want, so maybe there was something similar with the other team that they wanted.
Yes.
And we know not all of the Evil Rangers teams have the same kind of connection to the grid. So it does make sense.
That we may have something that they want other than our deaths. They still want that, but there is something else they clearly want besides our deaths that they can only get with us not dying.
At least not dying yet.
So Joe will going to turn to Zordon, and she's going to ask Zordon, so you said you knew this green Psycho Ranger before, but based off what we've seen, Pink is the leader, so how does he fit in?
We don't know.
Could it be that the Green Ranger from these videos sort of is from a different generation of I don't know. Are there different generations of Psycho Rangers? I don't know.
No. Psycho Rangers were all created at the same. The Psycho Rangers were created based off of the original Green Psycho Ranger, at least in this reality. But what we know about our Psycho Rangers means very little.
So the Green Psycho Ranger's been around much longer than the others. That's what I'm gathering here.
Yes.
But how much longer are we talking here?
He was asleep on the moon for several hundred years.
Wait, did you see the moon?
Yes.
He also said for 700 years, so a lot
The
to unpack
19
there.
in the 1960 team went to the moon to face him. And in
So we're
my
talking about a
haste
being
to
that has
put
been-
together competent people, I chose individuals who were on their own were incredibly competent. But together, they refused to work together. And the only one who survived was the Red Ranger from that team.
Well, what you're telling me is that this is a being that has been around for hundreds of years that also has enough combat experience to also. Okay, yeah, I can see how this could be a bit of an issue.
Again, we took care of that one. We don't know anything about this one.
So this one's different. Joy.
So this guy could be anything from a new one to a protege or whatever, just that they have powers on a similar scale. And the original was on the moon?
What I can tell you is the green psycho powers are formidable.
Like more formidable than pink? Are we talking? Or
Well,
I don't like the long drawn out pause.
Psycho-
It's never a good sign.
Psycho Green killed my entire team, as well as his own. Psycho Green was originally a Green Ranger from another planet. He was Sonic Green. Corrupted by Dark Spectre, he turned on his team and became the Psycho Green Ranger. He turned on his team and killed all of them.
That's making him sound like our evil doppelgangers from the other universe. And if he's still green spectrum, then Joe, you have to watch out especially. They seem to like targeting their counterparts, but it might be even worse now.
Oh, you can bet he'll probably be gunning for you.
I'm
More
not worried
likely.
as much because Joe, you're pretty strong. But double your. Let's double the protection around your apartment.
Try not to go out any dark alleyways at night for the foreseeable future. Probably best. I think we have a buddy system in place, don't we?
We do.
Kinda?
Mhm. Wait a minute. By that logic of certain Psycho Rangers going after their counterparts, who is Pink going after now? Not it.
Not it.
Not it.
Oh, well, Joe. Well, Joe, looks like you got to deal with green and pink now. Sorry.
The Shadow Omen's team has a Pink Ranger, as well as the Savage Stampede team.
But which area that is Psycho Pink seem to be around mostly?
She
I feel like
just
Pink
she
goes
just
wherever she
arrived in our
wants.
orbit.
Oh, Joy.
We picked her ship up as it was entering the atmosphere, as it was entering our solar system.
Oh, goody. More company. Fantastic.
It sounds like we have to like stop her before she lands properly if she's just hanging out in orbit. You've got enough evil rangers to deal with.
I mean, do they really have the defenses to keep them from landing at the moment if they really want to?
I think that's a question for Billy.
No,
Well, feck.
but their ship's too large to enter our atmosphere. It would never get out of it.
I guess we got something
Okay,
going for
so
us.
yeah, it sounds like good news, but like actually wrapped up in bad news. Like it can't land. Great. That means it's big enough that we can't fight it properly.
What if we don't have to make it? Why? How about if we don't make sure that it doesn't land on Earth, but it lands somewhere else?
We control this terrain where we fight them.
I mean,
Or
technically, don't we have to kind of fight on their terms? Because if they choose a densely populated area, then we kind of have to go there.
not if we redirect the navigation systems.
Find some way to
Billy, how much
scramble
progress
this.
has there been in to even get into their systems?
Harrison from the Savage Stampede team has been making large progress, but we'd have to check in with him.
Hmm.
They found something and recently faced something that we wouldn't have anticipated. And he touches another button and it flips to a news article out of Turtle Cove, a news video out of Turtle Cove, where you see about 15 white Psycho Rangers and Psycho Black facing off against the Rangers. The Rangers seem to handle the Savage team seems to handle it quite well. They don't seem to be as strong as your standard Psycho Rangers. Psycho Black seems to be pretty strong, but even then, he eventually gets destroyed, only to reveal that that's not even really him. It's a clone.
I've seen something similar in another dimension.
Reminds me of that anime code you had me watch. What was it called? Naruto? Well,
That
the fancy shadow clones and shite.
Oh, that's a classic. That's a classic.
that's a classic. But
Tatebayo.
in another dimension, there are these centuries of the Black Ranger. They weren't as strong as the original Ranger themselves, but the powers were split.
So you think it's a similar technique here? Making slightly weaker copies? I mean, if that's weaker, then we're in trouble.
Hmm.
True. Although
It's
maybe
never a
slightly
good
weaker
sign when you're
copies.
giving it your all and it just turns out to be a copy.
True. But it does do an important step. It fragments the power of what the original source has.
So at the
We don't
very
know,
least, until that Psycho Black gets that strength back, he should be slightly weaker.
or if it's possible to get that strength back.
I think we're all missing the true danger at the moment. And at
I
that
mean,
point,
everything's
Seamus,
dangerous here.
I was gonna say Seamus at that point, after raising his finger and saying that he kind of like squish like hunches in on himself and starts looking around like frantically. He's like, is Mara isn't here, is she?
She's right behind you.
Is she really?
No.
Freaking
behind
Seamus
you.
will look. Seamus will like immediately like grab Zane by like the scruff, like, don't do that. You have no idea what she could do to me. Just like picks him up like a foot off the ground, and before he like calms down, like places him back down and like just pats him on the shoulders, like, sorry. Listen, there's a reason why you don't fuck with Irish women. All right, I know she's not actually Irish, but she was raised in Ireland with me as a child, so it counts.
Anyways, back onto the important issue at hand.
No, what do you mean it's not important? This is my life at stake, lad.
Don't worry, we'll have a proper funeral for you and everything, pouring out for you in your grave.
Oh, gee, thanks. He immediately whips his head towards Reggie. He's like, wait a minute. How old are you again?
I can drink. It's fine.
Well, okay, well, I know some of you can, as he, like, just, like, knowingly looks at Joe. I haven't forgotten.
It makes me wonder why the latest attack here on Angel Grove, it was pretty weak. Like, extremely weak. And that was the first attack that has happened in weeks.
You think they're trying to distract us or putting their resources elsewhere?
Most likely.
It seems a good possibility.
So far, what we've also seen beforehand is that locations here on Earth, they've also been, let's say, occupied by the Psycho Ranger activity.
Maybe they
Or
haven't
for
done much because they're getting ready for, like, a bigger push, so to speak, soon.
So far, I'm going to use a swerve one. I've been doing some investigating. Picked up with some files on previous locations that we visited, in a sense. Entire topic areas that were visited, the facilities that were visited, looking for that common link in terms of companies. I've been doing some research into where all these things could lead to. If we want to be taking over the planet, they're doing it in a smart way. Of course, there are these attacks, but with our case, they're more planned, they're more thought out, they're more individualized. They target individual companies and individual locations. So I've been looking into supply chains, transportation networks, everything like that. I think I got something here. So yeah, I'm using a story point for that.
Story point
Ooh.
for finding stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully this will be useful.
Any information is information, I guess.
Something is better than nothing, I suppose.
You don't find
Alright.
like there's a the trail doesn't really lead anywhere. Nothing sticks out at you as being connected to Psycho to any one company. There's some shady stuff going on, but most of it looks like it might be just tied to the mob.
Huh. So whatever it is that they're doing, it's on a scale that doesn't make sense for most of us in cities, essentially.
What Psycho Red's doing specifically, anyway.
Mhm.
I don't know. Based on what we've seen of her personality, underhanded techniques and money laundering just doesn't strike me as something that she would do. Seems like that would be ineffective for her goal of taking out Red Rangers.
At the very least, it rules out using I guess, politics and underhand stuff. But that does mean that whatever she's doing, it's probably going to affect us much more directly. I don't know. There's a lot of people that just fuck with the grid and see what happens. So,
Around and find out, as it were.
Well, Billy, what's our next step?
Training montage.
I think we're going to need more information. We need to find out what it is they're after. So we are going to begin scanning the city to see any activity, to try and identify any activity of putties or any aliens connected to the sinister specters. See if we can find out their comings and goings. Maybe we can find out what they're looking for. So it doesn't seem like they've been trying to really kill us.
It's more like they're trying to distract us.
Exactly. But if they defeat us, it feels like that would just be a bonus rather than the goal.
Whatever it is they're looking for, it must be pretty goddamn important.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be.
Because realistically, they freaking hate us. I mean, they're passing up the opportunity to just utterly obliterate us for whatever it is they're looking for. Oof.
it means they really believe that whatever their end goal is going to be worth it.
Well, about how long roughly do you think the scans will take? Is this something you just kind of have to take with?
It's going to take us a few days.
Hmm.
In the meantime, I want you to go over to Reefside and scan the area. See if you can find out what happened over there.
Okay.
From the minute they created it, there hasn't been any activity there, basically at all. We haven't even detected them. It's like they just picked up and left.
Hmm.
So I'm sending you to the Reefside base, and having you meet with Kat.
All right, well, we'll do what we can then. And if anything does show up in the meantime, I guess our job stays the same. Kick their asses and protect the peace.
Always.
That's exactly right.
Hopefully, I'll be alive long enough to do just that before the mother kills me.
She's standing right behind you.
Shut up! You already did that once before. It's not gonna work again.
You know what? Good FaceTime her right now.
Oh, she looks real mad.
He just like slowly turns his head over to Joe after she says that. Like, are you trying to have one less teammate?
It's at this point, Seamus, that you feel a small tap on your shoulder.
Oh no!
He just like he stands there so still. He actually looks like he's not even breathing, and he's just like, "Baby, don't she
I told you.
And now you feel
It's like-
now you feel her like you feel two fingers grab your ear and start to drag you out the door.
Ah shit! Ah shit! Ah shit! Ah shit! Ah shit! Ah shit! Ah!
Try to warn him.
Well,
As the camera the camera watches them go by and then comes back to you guys. Once he's done dealing with that, head out. We'll watch things here. We'll call you if anything we'll teleport you. We'll call and teleport you back if anything goes crazy. But we need that data. Go down to the lab and pick up the tools and just scan and get us some data. Get us some samples. Mr. Biologist, Mr. College over here can head it up. He knows most. He knows a lot. He knows quite a bit about it.
All right, that, Mr. Cranston. Oh wait, do scouters come in glasses form? Like a Dragon Ball Scouter. That'd be sick.
You watch way too much anime. As I just walk towards the lab.
Listen, all right. Shonen anime gets the blood pumping. You can't stop me.
You see two hands pry on the door, like, it's true. Also, somebody tell Vita I'm not gonna make our training session.
Seamus, you get a good solid 45-minute lecture about, hey, making sure you're in contact and at least sending text messages. You try in vain to explain it. Eventually she calms down. And then you just kind of get a slap on the wrist. The worst part of it was the fairly nasty ear pull.
You've been clearly around my mother too much.
As she grabbed it, you legit had flashbacks from when your mom would like drag you through the center of the village.
Yeah. Ashite, ashite, ashite.
As you all board the van and begin your travel to Reefside, because Reefside's not that far away. Reefside's an hour drive from Angel Grove. According to the map, anyway. And you travel down to Reefside, and you see, kind of get to the location where you were supposed to look at it. You pull it out. The scanner's like a gun type device, and you guys begin your scans. Go ahead and roll just a general alertness checks for me because you're using equipment.
Would this be more of a science roll?
Or
8.
You're gathering the data. You're not You're not.
God, I hope it's not a science roll, otherwise I'd be fucked.
You're not. You're not in. You're not interpreting the data. Science would be interpreting the data.
Okay, I know I had my next rank in smarts for my level up, so I didn't put it in alerts. I placed it into science, so yay me.
Oh no.
Wow, somehow Seamus
right,
is
it just
actually
means-
doing well with technology compared to others. That's crazy.
Well, I mean, the scanner has literally pulled the trigger and pointed at the thing.
Listen, he's broken a fucking pulley on a truck just by touching it.
You did do that, but that was not entirely on purpose.
It wasn't on purpose at all. He's cursed, I tell
No,
you.
so since that was a group check, you guys are able to gather quite a bit of. You guys are able to do a fairly thorough sweep. Oh crap! A fairly thorough sweep, and eventually you kind of you guys gather it all up, send it off to be analyzed, and then you get into the truck and you drive to where you know the entrance to the base, to the Reefside base is. The Reefside base had just recently begun to be repaired after the attack, and the rain cat is out front and she's kind of waving at you as you guys get out of the car. And she looks very solemn.
Uh,
How you holding
hey,
up, dumbass?
Well, my husband's missing and his team is gone.
Seamus doesn't know how to respond to that. He's just like,
we're gonna try to do everything we can to find out what happened.
Bring the equipment and the results in here. Haley will scan it and read it.
can do, as he'll like go to pass it off as quickly as he can before something happens from him just holding the damn thing.
Yeah, I would just take it from him just to make sure.
Listen, I'm surprised. Listen, I'm surprised I got this far without the damn thing blowing up in my hands. Just take it from me before something happens.
Joe will confiscate your gun.
I don't know why. Alright, just technology and me just don't mesh well. Do you know how hard it is to even just keep a cell phone?
The science team and I are phenomenally impressed by the data we retrieved from you. We're still trying to figure it out.
You know how
He-
bad a scientist is if the scientists and doctors are impressed? Like, that should not be a good thing, right?
Just please, as soon as you find something out, let me know. I just. Yeah.
As you've handed off, and Haley has you set it down, and she begins pulling the equipment out and attaching it to cables and pulling the data from it. Kat leads you into another room, and she goes, "How are you guys all holding up? You guys missing 2 Rangers yourself, it seems. I heard one of them had to go home for family reasons, and another got called home to his home planet."
Yeah, things ain't quite entirely been the same, but we're holding up, I suppose.
About as well as we can, given the circumstance.
The good news is we can still try to communicate with them.
I mean, I still kind of keep contact with Koji every so often. Sometimes
And I'm
we
not
watch
worried
anime.
about either of them. Those two are really capable.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna hurt our fighting potential right now, though. But what can we do?
At least me and Koji still have our weekly anime sesh. Even if it
And
is over
that's
the
where all the
computer.
anime coming from.
I mean, what? He's just like thinking about the subscriptions that him and Koji have done through on like his card.
You guys hear like this almost like grinding on metal. And it's getting a little bit louder and a little bit louder.
Oh no, not again!
And you turn as you see this white sphere kind of pop out of nowhere, and then it cracks open, and then there's this small rumbling T-Rex kind of turns and looks at you.
The noise was the scanner about to blow up that I held, but
And
this
it's-
is also interesting.
It's like robotic. It almost looks like a small Zord. It kind of
It's a dinosaur.
walks up and kind of puts its head underneath Cat and goes, "I miss the Rangers."
Oh.
Oh,
Can I pet him?
might not
He goes,
be
"I
good.
will bite you."
Aww. Somebody's got some sass.
And he's got like teeth that like the sharpness of his teeth would take your arm off.
Well, isn't
jeez.
somebody just good on, isn't somebody just a Mr. Grumpy Rex?
Let's try not antagonizing the potential transforming Zord.
I just was trying to be nice. I mean, who doesn't enjoy head pats?
The giant metal
I-
dinosaur?
Under
I
her
don't
breath, Red
know.
just says,
He's not
Listen,
he's
I'm
not
cute.
giant by any mean. He's it's probably about 5.5 feet long total.
Listen, I'm just saying, the dragon back at my place loves being head pat. I'm just saying.
Every now and
Dragon?
then you talk about your home, and I'm like, is that just a Ranger thing, or is that an Ireland thing?
I mean, in a way, the Mystic Knights, I suppose, were like our own version of the Rangers, I suppose. Actually, come to think of it, yeah.
Ireland is weird. All right. Europe in general is just weird. Got it.
You know, he's not wrong about, or she's not wrong about that, honestly. Our whole area is pretty weird.
Anyways, let's take a look at this data.
She's going through it now, and
Right,
she's
yeah.
compiling it for us.
While we're waiting, you just see off to the side, like, Seamus, like, trying to, like, sneakily reach over to Pat, but then he, like, moves his hand away as it goes to jump up and take a bite, like, hey, jeez. It's just like one of those, like, just one of those, like, side screen things where you just kind of, like, notice off to the side.
Yes.
The rain,
Just like,
as you guys kind of sit in like an almost awkward silence, Haley kind of comes in from the other room. All right, I've got the data. Cat, you're not gonna like it.
those are never the things you want to hear right out of the gate.
You guys kind of enter into the other room. She goes, "What's going on, Haley?" Shortly before the combat, I have picked up a weird signature. I traced it down, and it's a very unique signature, a very unique morphing signature that only one ranger has ever had.
Well, that's good, isn't it? That narrows down the options, right?
Yeah.
Right.
5 unique energies. There's only one morpher that has 5 unique energies.
You're not talking
Oh,
about the
no.
Master Morpher.
That's bad, right?
Cat
I know
Cat
there's a ranger
goes.
somewhere that has multiple forms, but
Cat goes. What do you mean? Out with it. Clearly, you're talking about Tommy, but in what context? The Master Morpher was encased in green chaos energy. I think Tommy Oliver is the Green Psycho Ranger.
Fuck.
that's
Well,
impossible, right?
No.
Haley looks at you. Not necessarily.
The Master Morpher has access.
Several years ago, we found this, and you start to see this dystopian version of Angel Grove with a statue of a large Green Ranger and of the original Green Ranger and Rita Repulsa standing together. You see what look like Black Rangers in extra armor carrying guns. You see like what this yellow ranger, like super armored up yellow rangers, all marching in rows.
Ain't that the dimension I was last in?
The world of the coinless is a reality in which Tommy Oliver never turned good.
Yeah, I remember reading on that. Okay then. Well, shit.
Lord Draken, as he was called, set out on a conquest. And it broke reality for a bit.
So is that who this Psycho Ranger is now? Is this Dracon guy?
It could be someone similar.
Yeah, it could be another Tommy.
I've seen the damage of what could happen. I've seen whole Megazords be destroyed in the dimension I was last in for that mission. And they
Having
mentioned
one
the
Tommy
Dragon
that never
fellow.
turned good is bad enough. I think that there might be more. That's kind of terrifying, actually. I don't like that idea. Not at all.
And it's at this point that Kat kind of sinks to her knees because she kind of she goes, "How long has he been fooling us? What happened to my husband?"
I mean, it could be he's under control.
Are we sure it's your Tommy?
There were some inconsistencies that I didn't want to see until she said this.
Is it possible he's being like mind controlled or something? Didn't that happen once before?
You can't be mind control with the psycho energies. They override it. You have to want to take on the psycho powers.
Maybe he was giving an ultimatum of some sorts.
It's more likely that my husband was replaced. You've already faced doppelgangers. Why would that be surprising to you?
It seems to be our expertise.
Yeah, I know all about that.
And the plan remains just like
Sure,
last
I
time.
guess.
We have to stop this fake Draken guy, and hopefully try and get back the real Dr. Oliver, right?
If he's even alive. We don't know. Because they say share the same genetic code. A doppelganger could use a morpher. Because they're the same person.
It could also be a possession thing that kind of happened to me.
I was able to remove
And
that possession, but I'll have to
so that
check.
means we can,
Possible.
if they're using the same body, we can do it again. And if not, then we'll beat the answers out of Draken. We can't let him get away with his plans here in this reality too.
It's hard to say. Well, Rangers, we're not. It looks like a small portal. You start to see like all these data graphs kind of popping up on her screens. She goes, it looks like a portal opened inside the explosion, but it's got a different signature, so wasn't created, at least not intentionally, by this psycho energy.
James is just looking at all these graphs and charts, and he's like, aha, I see. And he kind of like leans over to Reggie. He's like, I don't get it. Do you understand any of this?
That looks like
I think that
no.
one's supposed to be like a pie chart or something.
There's like a graph over there. Oh no, that's just a calendar.
Is the red bar good? I don't know.
I rolled my eyes.
Red bars are never good.
Oh my god.
If we're gonna be fighting this Dracula,
Yeah. Like Seamus just immediately takes whatever chance to get out of like this. He's just like, hello.
Rangers, you need to get back to town.
Oh shit! What happened now?
There's a large swarm of putties out by the quarry, and they're digging a hole. And we just got a
everybody.
massive spike of Zeo crystal energy.
Oh,
Oh no! Wait.
Yep.
Let's go.
teleport now.
Let's get
oh,
As you- We're
Night
going to
out.
teleport you directly there. So be ready to jump right into combat.
Oh, I think we're ready.
All right, guys.
I
You know
think
what
we're
time it
overdue
is.
for some of that.
As you all morph and teleport, it appears, and you see this large. You appear inside the quarry, and there's probably 40, 50 putties, all standing kind of against, like they're digging a hole, and there's two women kind of standing side by side, kind of looking down at them, facing away from you. They turn around and each look at you. Well, look who it is.
Didn't
It's-
your mothers ever tell you it was rude to dig in somebody else's backyard?
Well, sister, you want to have a competition to see who can kill the first ranger? I would love to. Go psycho. Red and pink energy flares around these two women as the episode comes to a close. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us. Get ready for next time when the red and pink Psycho Rangers face off against the 4 remaining Mythic Order Rangers. Will the Rangers survive? Will they stop the drawing of the crystal? We'll have to find out next time on Power Rangers Mythic Order.
We're all gonna do